folks. So this is the first ever rundown episode, the rundown on the Living Fully Loaded podcast. Now you're wondering to yourself, what is the rundown? Well, it's the shorter, it's going to be a shorter version, or not shorter version, shorter episodes. And honestly, going to just cover various topics there. Just to produce more content. I've got a lot of stuff I want to do with the episode or the podcast in general. And this just gives me another way to do it. Kind of like I would compare it in a way to Rogan's fight companion episodes. You know, they're still with the Joe Rogan Experience, but he talks about fighting and covers fights and all that. The rundown is going to essentially be kind of like my version of that. Not going to be, well, I might talk fighting. You never know. If I watch an enjoyable UFC fight, I might give you a non-trained fighter's thoughts on it. I'm not going to say a non-trained fighter because then I'm calling myself a fighter. I'm not calling myself a fighter. But this is the rundown. Going to cover movies. You know, if I watch a movie, I want to recommend to you guys things like that. I'll tell you about that. Have some awesome new stuff coming out or doing. I want to tell you about that. Kind of my solo, as I've said in the past, this is my solo campaign. And this will just be another episode that'll come out probably in between the episodes. I don't know if I'll do this one weekly, bi-weekly, monthly. I haven't really decided. I guess it's kind of how froggy I'm feeling with it. But one of my buddies got to encourage me. He was like, man, you need to, you ought to do a companion episode. Talk about movies or, just stuff you're passionate about. And so that's what I'm doing. That's what this is, the rundown. It's just me. Sorry, no guests. If you don't dig this, hey, the regular episodes will continue to come out. They're going to come out I've been dropping them every Wednesday with the guest and things. That's not going to go away in any way, shape, or form. That's still going to be happening. So the normal Living Fully Loaded episodes will still be dropping. But in addition, this rundown episode is going to start going. So I don't know. It's a lot going on. For starters, if you're watching this on YouTube, you notice I've got a jacket on and my scarf. My wife's been making fun of my scarf. I shaved my beard. You may also notice that. My beard had done got really long, and I went to Sornex, hosted this thing called Winterstrong. If you follow me on any social media, you're probably tired of seeing me post about it, but it was so freaking cool. But I definitely was keeping the beard for Winterstrong. And essentially what Winterstrong was just a group that's invited by Bert Soren, who's the president of Sornex. And he invites a group of guys. He says, thin air, deep water. That's kind of the motto of it, thin air, deep water. And it's people that are all doing awesome things, really. And I felt like I was way out of my league because I just don't find myself that interesting or that cool. So I'm grateful, super grateful to Bert for inviting me to that. I hope that it's something that I get to continue to go to because the crowd was amazing. I mean, there was guys from the NFL there, a ton of retired Special Forces, Navy SEALs, Green Berets, that kind of thing, Army Rangers, Black Rifle Coffee was there. Oh gosh, Josh Smith Knives, Montana Knife Company, Jason Knight, Scott Valcourtson Firearms, Pat McNamara. It was just a crazy bunch, and I'm super, super honored to have gotten to hang out with this group of guys and gals. There was awesome chicks there. Laura Zira was there, who is a freaking beast, and she showed us how to start fires with bow drills, and shot bows, shot guns, connected, ate incredible food, learned how to cook deer on the flip-flop style. That's what they call it. I had never had it this way. Been a grown-up deer hunting all my life. Have loved deer meat. Well, on the flip-flop style, you essentially take, it's the whole hind quarter of it, like the whole rear leg of a deer. And he takes a rosemary, bush. He uses it as a brush. It'd be like a branch, I guess, off of it. And he's got his seasoning, flip-flop guy. You can look it up, the flip-flop guy. But he's got his seasoning, and he pours it in there, mixes it with some wine, and then he bastes it with the rosemary brush. He dips that into the seasoning, bastes the deer leg with it, and then he's got his seasonings, and it's either, I think it's his, or he even used Tacticalories. We used a lot of their seasoning. And he seasons them, and then you put it over the grate. Like you have a grate over hot coals. He lays it straight over that. You cook it for like 60 seconds on that side. You then flip it over. You take a knife and hold on. All right, when you lay it down on the grate and that side's cooking, while it's cooking, you're going to take your rosemary brush. You're going to baste that side of the leg, season it, and allow it to cook 60 seconds. Flip it. Take a knife and you're going to cut just like super thin pieces off of that leg. Like you want to cut it just not much thicker than like paper. I mean, it's because if you get to cutting it really thick, then it's super, super rare. I like it. I like mine to have some pink to it, but you can get it ultra rare if you cut too thick. So you want to cut it thin, like really thin, and it'll have kind of a good seared crunch to it, but it tastes amazing. And while you're cooking, when you flip it and cut it off, once you cut the pieces off that you're going to eat, you then baste it, season it, flip it back over, and the other side's ready. And you just continue to do that, flipping it back and forth and seasoning it each time. And it is bad to the bone. I shared a few pictures on my Instagram of them doing that. Sornex shows it, I think, in their Winterstrong video that they've got on their Instagram. A bunch of us shared it on Instagram, but probably the coolest way to cook deer meat that I've ever had. And tastes amazing. Highly, highly recommend trying it out. I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep some hindquarters when deer season starts back up, which I've got a long time because it just ended. But yeah, it was just a crazy experience. Got to connect and network with a lot of awesome people and some guests that will be on the show. So I'm super grateful for Bert inviting me out to that. And it actually kind of leads me into, I guess, the short rundown or message that I want to go over in this episode, in this podcast today. So I learned something, and I kind of related it. They had long range shooting, and it was with 22 rifles. I think we were shooting 220 yards. Now, 220 yards, some guys are like, well, I shoot that all day with my 270 or my 308 and all this. And it's like, yeah, you do. That's not a crazy shot. With a 22 rifle, that's a pretty dang long shot because a bullet is dropping like crazy. I think they said it was comparable to shooting 600 yards with like a full-size bolt-action rifle. Well, I got up there. They had benches and stuff set up, ball courts, and had these nasty, nasty semi-automatic 22s up there with loopholed scopes. I mean, they were set up bad to the bone. And got up there, and I'm shooting them aiming at the target. I'm shooting it. I'm consider myself a pretty decent shooter, and I'm just not even getting close to the target. I'm like, dang it, man. You know, I think I shot 4 shots and never rang steel. Well, this girl there, this woman, her name was Jade. She was nearby, and they had kind of spotter stations set up where they could spot you and try to guide you to your target. And she came up and she said, "Hey, would you like me to spot for you?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, yeah." You know, I kind of hesitated because naturally, as a man and as a dude that's grown up around firearms, you know, I have this pride and this ego with me, and I'm kind of like, you know, I don't need somebody to spot for me. Like I'm capable of making this shot. It's not that long of a shot, but I had done tried and I failed. So swallowed the pride, swallowed the ego. And she's like, "Okay, I'll spot you." And so she goes over there and she's spotting me, and she's like, "All right." She asks which target I'm on. I tell her. I take a shot. She's like, "All right, you're low move up, and the scope it had the adjustment notches actually in the dot or whatever. I don't know what kind of reticle was in the scope, but it had notches in there for yardage and things. So I adjusted up and took another shot, still low, adjusted. She told me again, she was like, low left, low right, and I adjusted up, and she got me hitting the target. And then I hit the target. We still kind of tweaked it in, got it in there, and I hit the target just consistently. I don't know, 5 or 6 shots in a row was just ding, 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 just ringing the target out there. And she was pumped up. I was pumped up. I was like, man, this is awesome, And so I took something away from that I didn't really think about until after I had already gotten home from Winterstrong. That was a weekend long thing in South Carolina. I came home, and you think about things later. And I got to thinking about that, and I was like, that really is funny. In the moment, I was just shooting a gun, just shooting a target. And then you get to thinking about stuff, and it's like, really, that actually, I can think about that much deeper. I can kind of relate that to my life. And I feel like most of you can. And that's that in life, and I firmly believe this, nobody is a self-made man. Or self-made woman, whoever's listening. I don't believe that anybody is self-made. And somebody might get mad and be like, well, don't discredit my hard work. I'm not. You have to work hard. I mean, like with Jade guiding me into the spot, I still had to hold the rifle steady, squeeze the trigger just right. I mean, I had to be aiming, had to hold it on hold the crosshairs on the target, put down the shots, had to be consistent. I mean, I had to put the work in to make the shots. Yeah, she can kind of guide me to them, but I still have to put the work in. But the point is, we all get help somewhere along the way. If you don't accept help, I mean, I could have easily been like, no, I got this. I've been shooting a long time. I grew up with guns. I got this. And who knows if I ever would have hit the target. I mean, I wasn't even seeing the dust or something fly up when my bullets were hitting the ground. So I don't know that I ever would have got it. And I could have kept shooting there all day. I mean, the ammo was there. I could have kept on shooting and might not have ever hit the target. And I thought about how many guys and girls float through life never hitting the target because they just can't swallow their ego or their pride and let somebody help them. That's a hard thing for me. I mean, I don't like asking for help. I don't like it. Even if it's something I don't know what to do, I would rather just jump into the fire and just try to figure things out myself. And there's times when I think that's good. I think baptism by fire is good, but get help. There's nothing wrong with getting help from somebody. Arnold Schwarzenegger has famously said that. I think he always has said that there's no such thing as a self-made man. I want to say that's probably where I heard it the first time. He talks about the various people that helped him along the way, kind of carried his load for him at times, and guided him. I mean, and that's this weekend. This is something that I'll always value. Going to Winterstrong, I had somebody ask me, they were like, are you still riding that high from Winterstrong? And I said, yeah, I definitely am. And I probably will for a long time because I've made lasting connections, but it's something that because of Bert inviting me, I've networked with these other people and they've helped me. I've got some that I'm going to continue to talk to that'll help me maybe in marketing this podcast and growing and pursuing the audience and kind of things. People are helping me. And, Bert invited me. I could have easily been like, man, I don't need to go to that, or, it's a long drive for me. I'm not going to make that journey. I appreciate it. But, and I could have had 10 excuses why I couldn't or shouldn't go to Winterstrong. And the opportunities that I would have missed out on by not going to that, and the experiences. I mean, it was one of the best times of my life. And, how many times do you either, one, you push your ego up too high, or you're too prideful to accept help, or you're scared. I mean, like, I didn't know what I was going into to Winterstrong. I mean, I'm a farmer that has a podcast. I didn't play in the NFL. I was not a Navy SEAL, not a Green Beret. I'm not a power lifter. Like I am not anything special. I'm just a dude that just can't accept floating through life. And I don't want other people to. And that was one of the cool things talking to these guys. Most of them, every one of them that I talk to, elite level guys at this thing, and they're normal guys. You start talking to them, they're normal guys. They have the same thought process. They travel, they miss their family. They have bills to pay. They didn't sleep good the night before. Their backs were hurting laying on the ground. I mean, we slept in tents, but their backs would hurt or this or that. I mean, they're not cyborgs. They're not machines. They're just driven individuals. And they choose to not float and be complacent. And that is exactly how I want to be. And so getting to surround myself with these individuals has been the coolest thing for me. And I don't know, I guess if I have a message or a rundown on this one, it would be don't be afraid to get help. I mean, and that's whatever it is your goals are. We live in a day where information and mentors are just one tap on your phone away. I mean, even if you can't physically meet this person, you can essentially have a mentorship or guidance from this person through Instagram, YouTube, or just, various outlets. A lot of guys now are doing online courses for whatever it is they're working on. So there's really no excuse, but get some guidance. Don't try the path of the self-made man, because you will not make it. I mean, some guys oh yeah, there's so-and-so. Okay, could there be the 0.00001% of the people that make it with literally no help at all? Probably, but I just can't think of any. And get help from people. Let people put your pride aside and allow yourself to be taught, to be guided. Let them help you hit the target. And, I know the value from talking to these people that are doing what they dreamed of doing. Even myself, this weekend was validation to me, because I get there and there's some people that have heard of my podcast there. And I'm like, man, this is cool. These are dudes that way cooler than I am. And I don't mean that sounding like I think I'm cool. I don't think I'm cool. These guys are cool. And it was just what? The fact that I'm here and I'm with this awesome bunch of people, and I got invited to this, I'm not here coincidentally. I was invited here for a reason. Everybody that was there was invited for a reason. And everybody that's watching this or listening to this right now, you've got a reason. There's a reason for you. You have a purpose. There's something that's firing you up in life. And I just want you to go after it, man. That's the whole premise of living fully loaded. I have general conversations with a lot of people, but I hope that it kind of it shows you their mind, and you can kind of say, well, that dude, his story's wild. That's a crazy story, but that's a normal guy. He's just freaking getting after it. And that's kind of the premise of this. But you got to let down your pride. You got to let down your ego and get help. So that is kind of my message on that. Get help. Now, before you can do that, you got to start. Most people, they have the paralysis by analysis. It's I want to do this, but I think I need to do this, and this before I can get there. When I started my podcast, I didn't know what I was doing. I just bought like the bare minimum stuff to do it. And I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this. Who cares? If nobody likes it, nobody listens to it, it is what it is. If one person enjoys it, then I'll keep doing it. And I enjoy doing it. So, you know, I guess I'm that one person. But somehow other people like listening to it too. And so it's stuck. But you learn as you go. And that's the thing. If I had never started, I would not have gone to Winterstrong. If I had been scared of what people were going to think of me and never started, never been willing to put myself out there, I would not have linked up with the awesome people that I have. I wouldn't be in a cool place in such a crazy year, such a crazy time. I'd be stuck in the funk of 2020 to 2021. But instead, I'm getting to talk to awesome people and getting to share a message with all you awesome folks. So I just started, and I want guys to do that. Just start, look up, again, research kind of how guys start, whatever it is you want to do. I mean, if you want to get into carpentry, there's a YouTube channel for that. If you want to make your own bows, there's a YouTube channel for that. I mean, like, I YouTube stuff for podcasts when I started mine. Like, yeah, and you better do it quick, because YouTube, who knows, man, the way they're censoring all the crap. I'm not going to get on a rant about all that, but fact of the matter is the information is out there for literally anything you could want to do. And I mean, if you absolutely can't find diddly squat about whatever it is you want to do, then maybe you need to start up how to do it and figure it out, and you be the guy that leads that path. Because my thing about this, like, I think about this with my podcast. There's a lot of podcasts out there. There's a freaking ton of podcasts out there. But there's only one Logan Hanks Living Fully Loaded podcast. There's only one of my voice, only one of the conversations that I will start or end or continue. You know, only my track of or mindset or whatever is in my podcast. Nobody has my brain and my thoughts. People have similar thoughts. I share similar thoughts with a lot of people. Nobody shares your mind or your thoughts. Your message is important. I believe my message is important. Your message is important. Whatever it is that's firing you up is important. And if that fire is kind of like dwindling down in there, don't let it go out, man. You know, like, throw some freaking gas on the fire and get after it. That's my challenge for 2021. Don't be scared. Don't be paralyzed by fear. Look, if we've learned anything, crazy crap can happen anytime. You know, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So you need to just be fired up. Let that fire go. And I can tell you, from putting myself out there on this podcast, I dealt with a handful of haters. I've lost zero sleep over them, and my podcast is steadily growing. So they didn't hold a candle of anything to me. And I can promise you they're not that bad. Like the fear of what other people will think of putting yourself out there doing that or this or that, it's really not as bad as you think it is in your head. I promise. So, you know, reach out to me if there's something you're thinking about doing and you don't know what to start or who to talk to. Man, shoot me a message. I might not know anything about what it is that you want to do, but I'll sure try to help you find it out. You can go on livingfullyloaded.com, and you can, on the home page, scroll down to the bottom. First, subscribe to our newsletter. And you can, I haven't sent the first one out yet. Just got the website up here recently. I'm going to get the first newsletter out probably within the next week or two. I'm not going to send you a bunch of junk mail, but I'm going to get that out. Go on there, subscribe to the newsletter. You'll also see right beneath that or right around that, it'll say like social media links. Follow us on social media. You can click the Facebook logo, and that'll pull up the Living Fully Loaded page, or you can click the Instagram logo. That'll pull up my Instagram page. I do not have a Living Fully Loaded, like, sole Instagram page. It's just mine. And but that'll take you there. Follow me on there. Send me a message on Instagram or Facebook. I'd love to talk to you. I think my Twitter is on there. I don't get on Twitter a lot. That's kind of just like, I just have that. I've had it a long time. I don't really put a lot of weight on Twitter. But Instagram, Facebook, message me on either one of them. I'll message you back. I like to hear from people. And I'll try to help you whatever way I can. I can't say that I can, but I can at least try to help steer you some way. So do that. And, folks, appreciate you listening to the rundown. This is, they're short, sweet. You know, we're not even at the 30-minute mark. I can get pretty long-winded, so that's not too bad for me. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope the message resonates with you. Not every rundown episode might be like this. Some of them, I might just talk about a movie that I watched and really, really enjoy. A recent film. I'll leave you with that. Let's watch a movie. I'll tell you a movie that I want you to watch. And I'm going to watch it. I actually just finished reading the book. It's one of my top films, and that is No Country for Old Men. That movie is bad to the bone, and the book is crazily bad to the bone too. They follow really well. I was really impressed at how well it follows, and the whole theme of the book is pretty cool. The whole theme of the movie is Josh Brolin. He tears it up. Javier Bardem. That's Antoine Sugar or whatever. He's like the coolest bad guy in that movie. He's weird as crap in it, but it is so awesome. If you haven't seen it, you need to watch it. Now, I will warn you, it is rated R. It's pretty brutal. It's got a lot of brutal violence in it. I think the language might have I don't think the language was just horrible, but I think it had some language in it. But it is a very violent movie. But man, what an awesome movie. So check out No Country for Old Men if you haven't. If you have, just watch it again. It's an awesome movie. It's worth another watch. And let me know what you thought. Shoot me a message, comment on my Facebook or Instagram. Let me know what you thought of the movie. And let me know what you thought of the rundown. If you enjoyed this, if you think that it's crap, let me know. Shoot me a message. Guys, also, before we close, go to wildertactical.com. Enter the code LOGAH10, number 10, and you'll save 10% on bad to the bone, American-made tactical gear. Do it. You won't regret it. I would show you my belt. I don't have it. No, I don't have it out here, but it's freaking awesome stuff, and it's veteran-owned, and it's American-made. So they are backed up due to the coronavirus. So be patient, but you'll get your order. That's it, folks. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Living Fully Loaded Rundown.